Hey there. A very good morning if you are in the Western Hemisphere. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Supercharged Fridays. This is the best place to hang out every single Friday. And we talk about all things career and life. So wherever you are, jump into the comments, say hi, give the algorithm a little bit of much needed rocket fuel so more people know about where we are, what we're doing, and you can come hang out with us. So yeah, welcome. Tell us where you are, what time is it, and you can see I have two lovely guests with me today, and we are going to be talking with both of them. Their names are Prashant and Sharon. And Shannan and Prashant are in completely different parts of the world. Prashant is really far away from me right now, like maybe like 7 kilometers away. But we've never met. And Shannon is in Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Dallas, Texas.
In the biggest state, I think, in the US, which is
Yes.
Texas. So very warm welcome, both of you, and welcome to Super
Thank
Touch.
you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So we are going to get started. This is not make-believe. This is not fake reality TV. Like We've never met. Prashant doesn't know who I am, and vice versa. And same goes for Shannon. And they're not pretend actors who are like, oh, I'm going to come on and pretend I'm looking for a job. This is real life stuff. And I'm not a pretend career coach. Contrary to what you may believe, I do this for a living. So the idea today is to listen to both of them and help them out with whatever struggles and challenges they're going through. And by listening, you might be able to get in and learn a thing or two yourself. And I would definitely learn. I always learn when I listen as well. So we're gonna get going. I see that people are coming in. Risto is one of the coaches I was talking about. So you guys watch out in the comments. He's a very wise person in warm and sunny Finland. So this is global warming. If Finland is warm and sunny in the end of September. Hi, so how are you? Books came in last week. You are a new friend in the Middle East. Very warm welcome. And Pradeep, lovely. There's going to be more people coming in. Kiasha is in South Africa. So you can see we have like a real global, very intelligent audience, So it's a very learned bunch of folks. And yeah, it's really fun hanging out together. So I've got my tea and we're going to get going. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the two of them introduce each other. Introduce themselves to all of us. And we're going to get cracking into what it is they need help with. And they're going to both put on coaching hats and put themselves in the shoes of the other person that, okay, what would I do if I were in your shoes, right? So Prashant and Shannon, the more senior we are in organizations, the more we need to do this for our teams. And what better place to get started than on a LinkedIn Live with a random career coach?
I love random.
Yeah, absolutely. Some more people. Mitesh, Ravindra, Lilin. Hey, Melissa, how are you? Vidya, Inda. Oh, okay. Dharampal, Ernest, Maruti. Welcome, guys. Lovely to see you. So let's start with Prashant. Why don't you introduce yourself to all of us who are watching?
Hi, Sonal. Thank you for having me. And hi, Shannon. It was great to be part of this live session. And hi, I'm Prashant. I am based in Brussels, and I am a veterinarian and a scientist. So let's see how we can get going through this session. And I'm quite excited what is there in terms of coaching and how we can help each other. For example, I'll put on a coaching hat with Shannan, and I will try to give some advice. And let's see, I'm quite impromptu, so I'm quite excited as well. Let's see.
Sounds good. We are very impromptu here. This is a very unscripted type of a session, so don't worry about it at all. And welcome, Prashant. And Shannon, introduce us.
Hi.
Introduce yourself. Yeah.
Hi, I am Shannan Johnson, and I live in Dallas, Texas. And I have worked in the creative industry. My last role was a creative director. I specialize in conceptual thinking and photo shoots and managing very large teams. And whether it's a digital scope or a print scope or a visual graphics or anything else like that, I have managed it. And I like to be a doer. So taking a step back from being a creative director, I have no problem with that, because I like to be hands-on. Like, I'm the first person to show up and the last person to leave. I always want to make sure everyone's taken care of and kind of the mother on the job that gets stuff done. And I love it. And it's part of my personality, and it bodes well for me in this career. And I'm looking forward to see what my next path is. And if it's something completely outside of what I've done for, since I graduated from college, then I am open. I'm totally open.
Love it. It's exciting. Not to undermine the tragedy part of the pandemic, of course, we cannot, control it, except we take care of ourselves and the people around us. But any change is scary and exciting at the same time. So it's about the emotion that we choose every single day. And it can vary. Nobody is always excited. Like, it would be weird, like you're high on something, on a drug, and nobody is always nervous. And if you're always nervous, then obviously you need to reach out, you need to ask for help. But usually it's a combination of both. So I love it. I love the fact that you said you're a doer, Shannan, and also the being the mom in the group and taking care of everyone is wonderful. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword as well. But
I totally agree.
We might get into it at some point, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. So let's get cracking. We are 6 minutes in already, and fantastic. So what I'm thinking now is, let's get started with what exactly, Shannan, you've been up to. I'm going to call this BC and AD. So BC is before COVID. Life was so different then for a lot of us.
It was.
And AD is, like before Christ and Anno Domini, but AD would be after disease. So, tell us what was happening till then, and then, what happened after March, and what it is you're in right now, and your real struggles. And Prashant, listen very carefully, because it's going to be your turn soon to help Shannan out.
Okay. So
Yes.
I worked for a high-end furniture company called Wisteria, and it was a family-owned business, and we were bought out by a group called Invest Industria, and they have a brand in the UK called Oka. And they had plans to expand the company and grow it. And then when COVID hit, they furloughed a lot of people. And then a couple weeks later, they decided to completely shut down a 20-year business. And so everyone was let go. And so the biggest things I learned from that role was I was working with a family. And, we all have families, and there's always very colorful people within a family, and you have to learn how to manage and work with them. And I mean, I'd have the owner's mother call me at night and, tell me, certain things to do, which was fun. And but I can adapt into any situation, and it may take me a few missteps, but then I go straight in, and I figure it out. I figure out the personalities, how I need to address people so that they feel heard and I get what I need from them. So I learned a lot. And so post-pandemic, I really felt like through that job, I went through a lot of like PTSD. And it was very challenging in good and in bad ways. And so after I was let go, I was the happiest I'd ever been in my entire life. And I really think just because I had some time to rest, and I have a very good work-life balance. It's very important to me to be able to go home and recharge and refresh. So I go to work, I give everything that I have. I'm very fast, and I can get stuff done, but then I want to come home and recharge. Otherwise, I cannot be that same person the next day. And so now I, through another friend, they introduced me to the career coach that I'm working with, Lauren, and it has been absolutely amazing. I have met some of the smartest people. Lauren has been my biggest cheerleader, and she's tough, and I need that right now to, like, you know, kind of buck up and, you know, this is hard. Quit looking at job boards because it's not going to get you anywhere. And she's teaching me how to find the hidden job market. And so I've been doing whatever it takes to pay the bills. And I got to work at a photo studio the past 2 days. And normally I'm the one directing. And the past 2 days I was pressing bed linens for Peacock Alley. And I don't care. Like I can do whatever it takes to get the job done. And it felt so lovely to be around faces and people in my industry that have become family to me, that I have missed so much and I adore. And I'm a creative person. I always have been, and I always will be. And I want to stay within a creative realm. I think I would lose a part of my soul if I left the creative side. So my biggest pain point is the postings that are out there are out of reach. They're looking for a unicorn, and as I know of, they don't exist. And so it is very, they're asking for a creative director that can execute video, that can execute web development and web design, and execute emails, and then cut them, and then send them, and then do social media and all that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is crazy. I direct the people to do that, and I can direct them well, and I know enough I know how to do all of it. And so all of looking at the job post put me in a place of fear. And through some different connections, I started taking a couple classes at a group called the General Assembly. And I took a UX design class, and I feel like I found a new passion. And I've always wanted to know who I'm talking to as a customer. I don't design for myself. I design for him or her. And I want them to be intrigued. And I shake things up when I come into a company. I breathe new life into my roles, and whether it's an established brand or a brand that's dying, I come in and I'm like, oh, this is how you've done it before? Cool. We're going to do it a different way. And I just go with it. So now I'm looking, there's a lot of companies right now that are struggling and dying, and I can bring them back. And that is my passion.
So thank you for sharing that. That's really good and helpful in terms of the details. So what would be your question for Prashant right now?
So Prashant, like, how do I go about exposing myself to the recruiters to get them to be able to tell the hiring managers, your job post is ridiculous. And this person, Shannan, can direct and do all of this stuff, but you have other people that do the production work and do the other stuff, and that's where they're the expert. I'm not the expert in that. I've done it before, but things have changed, and the digital scope has changed. So the reason that I have done more photo art direction and catalog design is, okay, I mean, I don't know, I'm awesome at it. and I'm passionate about it, and it comes through, and I have an idea, and then I let my team make it even better. Like I hire people that make everything better. And so my biggest thing right now is how do I get the recruiters and the hiring managers to see me beyond a piece of paper and beyond my portfolio?
That's the better question. I was going to say that I was going to challenge you a little bit. I like where you're going, but this is a better question. How do I get them to see my real value, as opposed to how do I get them to see that this is a ridiculous job description? Because you want to be like intentional with where you're going, what are you going to ask? So Prashant, are we good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Shannon, for sharing your story with me. I felt your vulnerability. And as you rightly said, you are a creative person, you are a doer, but I would say you are more than that. You are an achiever, right? So just be proud about it for that, So, and putting the coaching hat on, I would say you have amazing profile. You are super specialized, and it's natural to go being creative. It's also considerable that you are also emotional person.
Yes.
driven by your emotions. That's good. But being a career coach or putting the hat, I would like to say, like, we have to think it out in a rational manner, thinking from their point of view. As you also rightly mentioned, that now the situation we are facing is kind of a unknown.
Yes.
I don't know if you have heard about the black swan theory.
No.
And nobody knows. It's the unknown. It's equivalent to black swan theory, and nobody knows actually how to proceed. Even the CEOs or big pharma or industries, they don't really know. The creative industries, hospitality industries, they don't know. And what they are doing now is they are looking for someone who is expert at many things, who can actually, as you rightly said, can do the videos, can do the creative emails. Maybe what you can do is, rather than switching your question, like how to, you can also try to show them your skills, but maybe you can show them your efforts you are putting into gaining other skills, making your efforts into gaining those kind of skills, rather than going into specialist, making it as a generalized profile. And
great.
Then telling them how much value you can add into this into the profile, or into the job profile, or into the company as such.
I love that.
Think, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. That makes
sense. You can't listen to yourself, because some of the things that you're saying might, I'm not saying are, but might be applicable to you.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was listening to her. She was saying exactly my story I felt, but bit different, because we have a bit different industry. Yeah.
Sure, those are details, but the principles behind what she's sharing and what you said, that's very important to me right now. What you said, and Shannan, the same's going to go for you when you're going to be. I'm a big believer in the fact that the answers are usually within, and the reason why. Shannan, you're working with Lauren, who happens to be a really good friend of mine. Yeah, and the reason is because sometimes you need that digging, the person to help you digging, but the answers are there, and the answers can look very different. They can feel uncomfortable, but it takes courage, right? So that reminds me. So lots of likes and hearts and applauses, please, for the two of them. This takes guts. Shannan is sharing her heart out, so please give her a lot of love. This is like the least we can do from all different parts of the world. Cool, Prashant. So we're perfectly on time. Anything else, Prashant, you want to share that you feel she said something and you noted, or you want to, you missed out on? Or you're good?
Yeah, I think I covered basically whatever I wanted to say. Yeah.
Okay. Any reactions to that, Shannan?
No, I loved what he had to say, and I've definitely had Lauren came to me when a day I was breaking down, and she was like, "You are not vanilla. Do not behave like vanilla." She's like, and so it was just the stuff. It was what I needed in that moment, because anyone that says that they are completely strong and they got this and they can do it, I'm not buying it. You know,
Not all the time. Not all the time. It's not possible.
you need a group and a support system around you. And I have met so many incredible strangers that have helped me, and hopefully I will get to meet them someday and give them a big old hug. But right now, virtually, I can't even tell you like how impactful it has been.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I couldn't agree more. And the Black Swan that Prashant is talking about is actually a book, and I was going to talk about it. I heard about it back in 2008 when I graduated in a very horrible recession, 2008, 2009. This recession is, of course, I'm not comparing. This recession is the cake. This recession takes the cake, it takes the bakery, okay? It takes the whole job. We are not in a competition, but my friend here who helps out every now and then is talking about the book, which is called Black Swan. It's a very interesting book about outliers and that black swans appear from time to time, and they're not a one-time issue. So the thing that happened in 2008, 2009 with Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae affected mostly the US and Europe. Mostly, these are the two places. This one has affected the whole world, but it's only 12 years later. So it's not so rare that, it's an 80, 90-year difference. So we're going to get cracking. Kiyasha, I see that you have a question. It's if I have time, I'll come to it for sure. Otherwise, you can always drop me a line later, which is about that green circle. And we might come to it because I know that Shannan is a creative person. And when it comes to design, you might have an opinion on it as well.
Oh, I have an opinion on it.
So we can come to that. But in the interest of time, because I do want to respect the fact that I'd like to finish on the hour. It happens sometimes we might go a little bit over, and that's absolutely fine as well. Lauren is here cheering you on. So lots of
Hi, Lauren.
She's your cheerleader. So lovely to see you, Lauren. I know it's early for her as well. Here is a friend of mine, Vidya from India. Many roles require a universal approach. So the present times are all about switching between generalists and specialists. I couldn't agree more. I think it depends on what's in front of us. So love that. Rajiv is another coach friend in India. What are the 3 things you stand for as a professional and as a human? You're awesome. Shannan, with 2 N's, not 1. Read them to yourself and add those 3 new things and show up to pivot those skills. You're a rock star. Just put your mind to it and your strength, and you've got tons of it. So you're getting a huge amount of encouragement. Excellent. So now let's get cracking. And now Shannan has to pay very close attention.
I'm present.
Yeah, you're present. And Prashant, let's go and share with us what is it that you're going through right now, and what are you struggling with?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah, so I defended my PhD. I'm a veterinarian and a scientist. So it's a different industry. I'm different than you, Shannan. So I finished my veterinary degree back in India, and I chose to do research in animal biotechnology.
Okay.
So it was a bit different than normal vets you might have came across in your life. So I decided to go into research, and that research somehow helped me to get a PhD position in Belgium. And that's how 6 years ago I happened to come in Belgium, and I got so much interested and so much passionate about the research. And my research was about infertility issue of the cancer patients, and I had the challenge to make that clinical situation into lab animals and somehow to treat with using stem cells and somehow to solve that infertility issue of cancer patients. So it worked very well. I was very happy to defend my PhD back in 2019 in September. And it was my passion. It is still my passion, to contribute to the larger picture of the science. But then I was looking for a job in Belgium. It's the first thing is the languages. You should be speaking not just English, but the native languages like French, Dutch, and if you speak German, that's also good enough. And then when I was looking for jobs, also the other dilemma came into play was like I'm overqualified, but underexperienced. And in throughout last 1 year, I tried to deal with that. I took on some roles at, I don't know if you know about the Toastmasters International. So I'm the vice president of education of the Brussels Toastmasters Club, where I do and practice the public speaking and leadership skills. And I also invested a lot of time in gaining some of the skills. For example, I finished the FELASA designation, which is needed to work in the pharma industry. That actually makes me kind of unicorn specialist, and also general.
So you exist.
Okay, that's bit yeah. And I'm also kind of also making my career a bit generalized in a way, because during PhD I realized project management was something which I got really interested into these days. I realized if I would have known some of the techniques, tricks of project management, I would have handled my projects back in PhD way more better. But okay, it's not late. I'm still preparing for my PMP certification, and that will also help me going forward. So, I'm trying to get all these backups covered, but still then this COVID happened, and then it's like a black swan. But still I'm putting my efforts at right place. I exactly know what kind of job or what kind of a position. I don't say it's my job. I say it's my mission to help to contribute to the health industry, not just for the animals, but as well to the humans, by using my skill set of a lab animal veterinarian and the scientific skills I achieved. But as I said, I have two issues with languages, which I'm naturally good at, but not the not working proficiency, I would say, not at the professional level. I have the basics covered. And the secondly is overqualified and underexperienced part. So I hope I will get some of your insights on that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I feel your pain points on overqualified in certain areas and underqualified on others. And during this time, what I have read from other people is it's okay to take a step back and maybe do something that, even though you're overqualified for it, take a different approach and maybe take a different role that opens up a door into something else. Because I've been reading stories and seeing stuff of people stepping in to a role that they were overqualified for, and then management saw like, oh, you're amazing, and so we're moving you up. But right now I feel like it's getting your foot in the door, and you have two specialties, which is absolutely amazing. And people right now being at home, I'm sure a lot more people are finding out about their own infertility issues, and that they're going to want to have a family, or grow a family, and that's going to that I feel like that is going to be something that's going to really change and be very big. And so you're a very bright, intelligent person. I speak one language, and you have multiple languages, and so you're already miles ahead of so many people. And I think the biggest thing right now that as job seekers we all need to look at is, who cares about the title? It's where this job can take you, and it's the potential within the role. And I don't know what unemployment funding is like in your country, but I know what it's like here, and it's diminishing. And so, I'm like, whatever. If I have to take a pay cut, I'm not a proud person. Like I will. I mean, I'm proud, but I'm humble enough to know that you do what you have to do. And I feel like that is something where let me rephrase. You have a lot of abilities, and you may be the first unicorn I've met, and so you have options to go in this direction or go in this direction, and maybe some of it is meeting in the middle and finding other ways of how you can take your massive skill sets and find something different. I think during a pandemic is when the genius comes out of so many people. I think that there are going to be businesses that are starting out there that are going to be incredible, that could actually, where you can go in and, as Lauren says, like solve a problem, solve problems. They could be startups. It could be something where everyone gets scrappy together and figures it out. And if you don't know how to do everything, then you learn as a group. And so I feel like that there are opportunities for everyone and for you. They just haven't presented themselves yet. And keep doing the work on LinkedIn, keep writing your post, keep sharing your personal stories, following your thought leaders, commenting on your thought leaders, doing all of that so that you are seen, because that's what I've learned, and it's been growing. And while I'm sure for you, like writing is natural, and but then add in those personal moments where people really get to see who you are, instead of like reading a book that is stale, because you are not stale. You're a standout.
Great. Thank you very much. I mean,
yeah.
You are muted, Sonal.
Sorry. How does that sit with you, Prashant?
Great.
Shannan?
Shannan, you summarized very well. I really liked it. It's great to see from your point of view, like how you look at it. And I really liked it. And especially your coach, Lauren, she pointed out the problems. And I really liked that idea to, for example, maybe I can highlight that. I know what are the problems pharma industry, biotech industry, or in general health industry is facing. And I clearly know how I can answer, or how I can cater their needs. But perhaps I was failing to address that well enough in my cover letter or in my CV. So that's the one of the point to take away for me. And I also liked I'm making myself seen, but not well enough, I would say. Maybe I should still put my personal stories in front. And that is, I think, one of the takeaway, one of the highlight for me, I would say. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good. Shannan, while you were sharing with Prashant, was there anything that was coming to you like, yeah, this is familiar, but I
tons of it. I mean, tons. I mean, there are days where you get in your own head, and then it stalls you, and then you're like, freaking stop it. Like, just put the post out there, reach out to someone, rise up, be humble, ask for help when you need it. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, because I think so many people are afraid to ask for what they need. And then they're disappointed that they're not getting the results that they've wanted, but they didn't put it out there. Yeah. And so the past week and a half has been a big turning point for me, where I did put out there that I need help. And I cannot, like Prashant, I can't even tell you who came out of the woodworks. It was not who I expected at all. And it blew my mind.
Share with us some of that stuff, because it might be helpful to someone who's listening. What happened?
Well, I had a lot of stuff happen very quickly. My house flooded. I had dehumidifiers all over my house. I have them all unplugged at the moment, so it doesn't sound like a wind tunnel. and, I'm going to have a gut job on, half of my house. And then, my car died, and then this big giant bill came in, and then it was just like all this, it's like normal stuff that happens in life. But it was hitting so much at once. And I'm usually the helper, and I'm the one that's serving other people. And when people didn't call me with all the stuff that was going on, it broke my heart, and it hurt. And I got a little venom from someone, and I decided, no, like this is, I will not allow this in my life. And so I have removed that person, not in a dramatic way, in a very quiet way, just walked away. And then I posted something very personal on Facebook. And I also posted a different type of personal message on LinkedIn. And I've had friends from grade school, from junior high, high school, and college reach out to me. I walked home. I had flowers from a stranger at my doorstep. I had cards. I've had gifts sent to me to help me to rise up, and that I'm loved, and that's all been anonymous.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Wow.
And then the ones that weren't anonymous, I haven't seen some of these people in 30 years, and it just blew my mind. Prashant, there are people out there that are very blessed right now, and they want to help. They want to give back, and they want to show up. They're just waiting for who's going to ask.
Yeah.
So ask.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much for sharing this. Yeah.
Yeah, because you said this is normal stuff that happens in life. This is not normal.
No,
stuff.
this is not
Your
normal.
house gets flooded, and your car. Okay, the car died, and then this happened, and then this person walked out of your life within a span of a week and a half. I would say it's a pretty cinematically dramatic week and a half. Okay, I wouldn't say it's necessarily stuff that everyone can relate with happening in a very concentrated amount of time. So, but appreciate you sharing, and I know you're on this journey, and you're in good hands if you're working with Lauren.
Yeah.
You're in good hands. And when you said be humble, don't be scared to ask for advice. You guys don't have that issue. If you're humble, you're here, you're asking for help. So we're good to go. I want to just quickly jump in the comments and then get going with my my coaching hat and help you guys out as much as possible. Books sometimes. Oh, 1 second. There was somebody else who wrote a story that I want to share. Her name is Inda. I just want to share my story. I lost my job last month, and I had one rejection a week ago, and I'm sad because my dream can work at that company. Thank goodness I still have a business reseller, food reseller business, active in the environment community and learning some languages. I'm still happy. I'm still hopeful. Doing what I can, share what I can, keeping my spirits up. Good for you, Inda. We are cheering for you. We're rooting for you. Absolutely. Well done. Lots of applauses for Inda. It's not easy. Some of us are sitting, everybody says, oh gosh, this drives me crazy. We're all in the same boat. We are not in the same boat. Okay. Some people have a freaking beautiful cruise ship, and some people have a tiny little raft, and they're barely wearing any clothes, and they're freezing their privacy settings because your name never shows up. Hang in there, Shannon. You're a true talent, bringing so much to the table. This too shall pass. But you know what? It's not even about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain.
Yes.
That's very well said.
I wish I had said that. It's not my. And now coming back to books, sometimes a company can advertise a specialized position while the job seeker is much wider qualified, and absolutely see the bigger picture from her perspective about the needs of the company. It might be worth your while, to get the foot in the door. And absolutely, I was going to talk about this as well when I get cracking with my pages and pages of feedback that I'm going to share with you guys. In addition to what Lauren is saying, how can you solve their problem? Get in front of those people for whom you're solving this problem, right? And you need to be searchable. You need to be findable. And this is a great article that my friend Risto has written a few days ago on the Blue Ocean Strategy. If you guys don't know the Blue Ocean Strategy, Google it. It's written by two professors from my business school where I did my MBA in INSEAD in France. And it's about finding opportunity in a blue ocean. It's blue, but red ocean is where everybody is. And the reason it's red is because there are sharks everywhere. They're killing each other, which means competition. Too much competition, and there's blood because the sharks are killing each other. So blue ocean is completely wide open, and that's in the entrepreneurship space, but it can also work in career searching. And Risto wrote a brilliant article on it, and I think it's worth checking out. Connect with Risto when we're done. He's a brilliant person. He's semi-retired, but very active in the sense that he's helping lots of people out, and he's got gems.
What is that semi-retired term?
I'm sorry?
What is that semi-retired means? He's working for one day, or
semi-retired meaning he works, he does a lot of pro bono, and he's got a few clients, but he stopped his 9 to 5. He's
great.
I will
connect with him.
And by the way, he was also on Supercharged Fridays something like a month ago, and he shared lots of interesting things from his perspective on the topic of sometimes I feel lost. Like, what do I do when I'm 44 years old? I should have figured it out by now. What is my purpose? What do I want? He shared some brilliant models, from the very academic but very implementable part. So I suggest definitely connect with him and watch that. You'll see that in my. I think it'll be really helpful. Go, anytime you want to see some stuff, go to LinkedIn in the search window and do #Supercharged Fridays. You'll see all my previous episodes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, Lauren. You're cheering very, very loudly.
I hear you from Chicago.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this is an old friend of mine from Chile. Hola, Daniela, ¿cómo estás? I lost my job sometime. The most important lesson to me was to be humble and ask for help. Muy bien. Muy bien. Lovely to see you. I've never spoken to her in English. This feels weird. Find yourself for others to find you. Most answers are within your awesome skills, and he's got his pom-poms here, like he's like cheering you like this cheerleader. So absolutely amazing. And anybody else? Oh, lovely. Such wonderful feedback you're getting. And what is our friend Satish say? To add what Shannon said, I'd like to highlight from the previous editions of Supercharge. Ooh, somebody's been paying attention. Yes. I will come to that, creating content. Yes, you are ahead of me, Satish. You're 2 steps ahead of me. Lovely. So, my gosh, I haven't seen her since 2007. So it's lovely to see her here. Okay, guys. I have been very patient, listening very patiently. It's sometimes not easy because I'm very extroverted and I'm very talkative. So I'm already warning you, we have 17 minutes, but if we go a little bit over, if you have to go, you have to go.
Fine.
But,
Good.
I'm good.
So what I'm going to share now is stuff that I think will be applicable to both of you. Okay, there will be some parts which need to be a little bit customized for Shannon or for Prashant. So take it, and you can always take what makes sense with a pinch of salt. I don't know, and I don't care what your marital status is. You're married, you're single, I don't care. But when we're in our teens, we have this list of this ideal person. Okay, I know I did, and please tell me that I wasn't the only one. You tell me in the comments. We all have that, and don't say it's a very girly thing to do, guys. You've been dreaming about this woman, and it's like, my 7-year-old is like, I want to get married to someone like mom, and I'm like, oh, that's not gonna last. Okay, in a year or two, he'll be like anybody except like opposite of my mom, right? Anyway, we have this list. The person should look like this, have this profession, articulate, well-educated, da-di-da-di-da. And then you fall in love. And the person is not quite... What is my point? We have this list, wish list, and then we go out there in the market. That person doesn't exist. What exists is this person who is perfect for you. And you're perfect for each other, but they're not perfect period. They're not. Why? Because nobody is. Yeah. So I just want to be mindful of that, that when you say this unicorn candidate, companies know. I've worked in many companies. You guys have worked in many companies. This unicorn candidate doesn't exist. They know that. Okay. And if they do that, it's too good to be true. There's something weird. So wherever you both feel that you're meeting about 60 to 70% of the requirements, and I have very different ways of approaching this. So I'm going to be all over the place. I'm already warning you. I don't have any structure, any order, because I literally like scribbled a couple of hours ago. But what I am going to say is the stuff I'm sharing is stuff that happens over hours and hours of coaching with my clients. So I'm giving you the abridged version. So, it might, if it goes over your head, you might have to watch the replay. And if you feel you meet 60 to 70% of the requirements, apply. You lose nothing by applying. But if you apply, you're giving the power away. And I know Lauren teaches you that, Shannan, but I'm telling you this, Prashant, you don't necessarily want to be looking out for opportunities that are published, because sometimes positions are not published. Yeah. And you want to be proactively out there with the right people, so that when a position comes up, they don't have to publish, they have you in mind. Your top of the mind recall. Think marketing principles, top of the mind recall. The second thing I want to say is, because I know, Shannan, you said, they need someone who can do A, B, C, D, E. Oh, it goes all the way to Z. Okay, I'm Indian. I'm going to say Z. I can't do Z.
That's fine.
The point is, it's weird. Okay, and at the same time, we all have aspects in our job we love, and aspects in our job that we love a little bit less.
Yes.
The love a little bit less, or I don't like this part, it should not be usually more than 20-30% of your job. And everybody has that. Even an entrepreneur, they have to do the accounting, or even if they outsource it, they have to do editing of videos, whatever. I'm just, tons of examples. But if that part is more than 50%, that's an issue. So you want to be careful before you apply, because you don't want to necessarily go unhappy. Because I heard PTSD. You don't necessarily want to go from devil to the deep blue sea.
Yes.
Yeah, frying pan to the fire.
Yes.
The third thing is, I'm sure you guys have heard the story. Oh, what is the story? This woman, she graduated. Her dad was very proud of her, and he gets her this vintage car. He doesn't get her this vintage car. He had it in his garage. And do you guys know where I'm going with this?
I know the story. It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So I'm just going to repeat it for the audience, and maybe Prashant. Prashant is smiling. Maybe Prashant knows. Maybe I'm just repeating it for the
love it.
30 people who watch. So she's like, okay, if you know it, then I'm going to muck it up, because I don't remember it, and you're going to be like, ugh.
Your version.
So it's like, okay, I don't want this car. So he said, okay, if you don't want it, then you sell it. So then she goes to, the auto secondhand shop in the main mall area. And they're like, this piece of junk, we're going to give you like $500 for it. And she says, what? Okay. She goes back to her dad. And then he says, you sure you want to go there? And then she goes to the other place, which is like, slightly more upmarket. And they're like, we will give you $1,000 for it. And she says, what the heck? And then he says, go to this place. And then she goes to this the people who do the vintage car rallies, and they look at this car and they're like, we'll give you 50,000. Okay, we close the deal today. And she's shocked. And it's all about, where are you looking? Where are you looking? If you are looking, number one, at places where people are telling you you have to do the laundry list of tasks, maybe you're not looking in the right place.
Yes.
If you are looking in a place where they tell you you need fluent French and fluent Dutch, you may not be looking in the right place. Okay, Prashant, because I came to Belgium, I didn't have fluent French, fluent Dutch. I just had Spanish and English and Hindi, and they didn't care about those languages. But I wonder if any Belgians watching. I'm going to be a bit politically incorrect. They have to say that. They have to say that in the job description as part of the government. They have to show that the job is first given to locals before they give it to migrants. It makes sense. So it's great that you're learning the languages. You got to keep learning them. You got to get fluent in them. But any place that says you need the thing before they even talk to you is not the right place for you. You want to be in a place where they need your skills, and there's shortage of skills, and they're getting talent from outside because they don't have the talent within. That's where you want to be looking. Okay, and that means switching to universities or pharma companies or research where English is the lingua franca. That's where you need to be looking. I love the fact that you said you're doing General Assembly, etc. So that's great. And Prashant, you're doing PMP. You guys are completely committed to reskilling, upskilling. So I love that. I don't have to talk to you about that. Now I'm going to talk about two different things. One is the outbound strategy and one is the inbound strategy. Outbound meaning you're going out there. If you find contract work, take it. Right now, it's not about finding that perfect person and marrying and settle down. Right now, you're doing a little bit of dating. It's okay.
Yeah.
We put a lot of pressure on ourselves and we're like, this job has to be absolutely, perfect. Let it be a stepping stone.
Yes.
Okay. It will help you to get to the next one and then get to the next one. You're not in a lifetime of commitment. So don't worry about that. So if you find contract work, etc., take it. If you find a company that can do your taxes, etc., take it. Because I know that I'm saying that because in Belgium taxes are ridiculously high, and you don't want to set up a company if you're not necessarily seeing regular income coming in.
Yeah.
Now, there's a few things that you can do. You need to take two Excel spreadsheets, and probably Lauren has done this exercise with you, but it's also for the benefit of Prashant and anybody in the audience who's listening. Make a list of your companies that you'd love to work for, and they can be very dream list companies. You're like, they would never hire me. Don't self-censor. Just make that list anyway, and make that list that you think is a little bit more sure shot. Safety net type of, so put that down in one spreadsheet. If you're location specific, put it in your location. And then make another list, which is completely different. And this is your network, your warm network as well as your cold network.
Mm-hmm.
I did a session about a month ago with a professor who said the funny thing is the cold network, which is called in sociology, your weak ties, are the people who end up being very, very helpful to you. But because we're not in touch with them, it feels very weird reaching out to them. Mm-hmm. There's a way to reach out. You don't necessarily reach out of the blue. How would you feel if somebody reaches out of the blue and you haven't spoken in 10 years and they're like, hey, how are you doing? Do you know, I need a job. So you feel a little bit like, oh, there's an ulterior motive. So you need to start building a relationship, sometimes restart building that relationship. It takes a bit of time, but you need to spend time listening to these guys. How are you doing? And virtual coffee or whatever. And then like, hey, Shannan, how are you doing? Oh, yeah, I'm glad you asked. So this is, this is me. This is my situation today. I've done my PMP, etc. So like, okay. So if you know of anything, good. But people like it when they heard. They have been heard first, right? And when you were listening to them, if you could help, you're listening. If you can add value, you do that. Yeah. Help. Right now, I know you need help, but do the opposite. Give a lot of help right now. It's funny how that works and how it comes back to you 10 times over. Mm-hmm. What else? Other things that you can do in terms of outbound. That's what I think Satish was saying. Also make a list. Okay, this is your third list of leaders who inspire you. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, these leaders could be very far away, glamorous. You'll never meet them. Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't matter. But here, I want you to be specific, intentional. There need to be people in your field. They are people in your field who do what you do, Prashant. They're already there and they're already successful. And same goes for you, Shannan. Mm-hmm. Now, see out of these list of people, make it 20, 30, doesn't matter. Now, see how many of these are active on social media, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. If they have a public profile, see who are these people. Yeah. And then you want to see which of these are decision makers, which means CEO or recruiting manager, something like that. Yeah, you can tell. It's very easy to tell with LinkedIn. I'm going to sound like my grandpa, but when I was looking for a job in 2000, when back in the day we used to, go up this hill to go to school. No, I'm not going to say that. Back in the day in 2000, we didn't have LinkedIn and all that. So we had to do all of this ourselves. Now we have this wonderful tool, got to take advantage and got to use it. So now these people are going to be the ones who are creating a lot of stuff. It could be a video or a content, whatever. Go out there intentionally, put a comment which is intelligent, which shows that you read the thing they wrote, or you watched the thing they published, and you have something to say, something intelligent, there's an art, and say, I loved this post, and I love it for two reasons. One, two, done. Usually people tend to reply to that because you've taken the time and the effort. In the beginning, I used to take 20 minutes to half an hour to write a comment to the post because I really wanted to be noticed by these people. Now it's like, okay, 2 minutes, it's out the door. But this is a long-term strategy, and this is why many people don't like it. It takes time, but it pays off big time.
It does.
Big time. What you want to do is you want to form a relationship with these people, and they start recognizing your name after a little while. And what you want to do is chat with them in the LinkedIn Messenger and get that relationship off of LinkedIn into a virtual or a real life conversation over coffee. That's what you want. Because when the time comes up and they have an open position, they don't even have to publish it. They've thought of you. It's one of the fundamentals of hidden job market. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. If you guys were my clients, you'd be doing approximately 5 to 10 coffee chats a week. So no slacking around. If you don't have a job, no Netflix. Yes, you can reward yourself. If you've done your thing for the day between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., this is what I do. If you've done it, reward yourself with it. But don't reward yourself first. Create relationships, create content, create before you consume.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a good point. I got my Netflix off since last 1 year.
Woof, you're brave. Create before you consume. Create before you consume Netflix, before you consume content, before you consume chocolates, before you consume any unhealthy food. Create something first. That's all when it comes to the outbound side of things. Any questions so far?
No, it's great.
No, it's
Okay,
great.
let's come to the inbound. The inbound part, you want to make sure your LinkedIn profile is 100% optimized. I have a free checklist. Go to my profile when we're done on my profile page on LinkedIn. It's right there. Just download it. You'll be able to see it. And you guys, the reason I'm saying this in the audience as well, you want to be searchable. And Lauren used the word findable. You want to be searchable. It's like the first page of Google.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking for something, you'd rarely go to page 2. You rarely go to page 3. It's like a dead place there. That's what you want. LinkedIn is a search engine. A lot of us forget that. So our headline will be like, you want to solve world peace. I want to do this. I am the unicorn. Nobody's looking for that person. But yes, I'm looking for a veterinarian scientist. Yes, I'm looking for a creative director. So use those exact keywords. And I have different formula. How do you write a headline? What kind of picture to have? What kind of banner image to have? These are suggestions. And obviously go take it, run with it, customize it to your own.
By the way, I applied your suggestion about the banner image. One of the Fridays you talked about using Canva, and it looks really great now.
It looks great. I know, I've seen it. It's well done. You just, it's good to listen to. I'm not showing off here, but it's good to listen to someone who's been there, done that, because we've made more mistakes than you have. As simple as that.
I've changed the banner image probably 5 times, and I'm still not satisfied. So.
But the good thing about that is you keep trying. It's all about experimentation. Nothing is permanent here. We're not getting married with the banner image. We're dating a lot. It's all about
now get along well.
Yeah, throwing the spaghetti and seeing what sticks. What else do I want to say? When it comes to people who are telling you same thing, Prashant, overqualified languages, pay attention to where you're looking. And if you finished your PhD a year ago, you said 2019 September, it's not a long time, right? So you've got a lot of demonstration to do that you can do the job. People would be a little bit wary right now. This is a very strange year when it comes to hiring. So they want to be, it's normal. You want a product that's a bit more tried and tested as opposed to brand new. There are no reviews on Amazon. You want something which is a bit, so get out there, get testimonials. All of that stuff is there in my LinkedIn profile checklist. You want to come across as a bit more like, I have social proof, and you're creating content on LinkedIn. And that's what Satish was saying. You're already creating content, Prashant, but also the engagement thing is very powerful. So I don't have to tell you, create content and do this and do that. And also, this is a little bit of a hard one, particularly for Prashant, because I know you're here for studies and for work, but give yourself a deadline. Okay, I don't know the financial situation. I don't know if somebody's working in the family, but give yourself a deadline. Say 1st April or whatever, and say by then, if I haven't been able to find a job, it might be time to look at another country or something like that. Because you wanna. People say keep trying, keep trying. Yes, it's great. You can't give up, but at the same time, you don't want to prove Einstein's definition of insanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same thing again and again and again and expecting a different outcome. So these are different things that can help you. These are different strategies, but give yourself a deadline. And by then, if it doesn't happen, either you change your field or look around, be open to a relocation to another place. It's a suggestion of mine. And another thing as well, Shannan, because I know that you do this as well, and it goes for both of you, by creating all this content, etc., you want to come across as someone who's a thought leader. I don't like this word thought leadership, but you want to come across as someone that, when I think of creative, I think of Shannan. When I think of cancer and testing and projects, I think of Prashant. This is your personal branding. It should be coming up in your profile. It should be coming up in your resume. It shouldn't be haphazard. So pay attention to the kind of content you guys are creating on LinkedIn, particularly LinkedIn. You want to make sure that whatever you publish is very congruent with your personal brand.
Yes.
Another thing that helps is the daily routine. I don't know about you, but I'm very good at breaking my rules. So it might be helpful to have an accountability partner. And here, what I find very helpful is, I've done that myself, is have a little group, very small group of trustworthy people, of other job seekers, and cheer each other and have accountability with each other. You can break a promise to yourself, but it's very difficult to break a promise to a friend, usually, right? And the third thing I want to say, a few more things I want to say is, it's really weird, but help other people right now. Even if you need help right now, just go and do the opposite. Help other people. If somebody's asking you for help, even if they're not asking you for help, there's a job, but the company has no money, you want to give them advice, give it for free right now. You have nothing to lose anyway. You're sitting on your tail on the couch anyway. So do something for free. Help them out. You're going to get more out of it than what you put in.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I want to say is some of these technical things that I've shared, LinkedIn, etc. I see a lot of chatter in the comments. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. There's some technical tips on LinkedIn, profile, outbound, inbound. 80% of it is mindset. 80% of it is mindset. You have to believe that you're amazing. Like, you have to believe I'm a big freaking deal.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say it. You've got to say it out loud. Say it out loud with me right now. I'm a big freaking deal.
I'm a
big freaking deal.
I'm a big freaking deal. I'm a big freaking deal. Like, people will be so lucky to have me. You've got to believe it. And when you really believe it, a small rejection here or there, it comes to you like you remember that game when we were kids? It comes and then it goes back. What was it called? Arcade? It doesn't enter the system. It doesn't enter here. It doesn't give you depression and oodles of chocolate and Netflix and crack. It doesn't matter. It wasn't meant to be. I'm a big freaking deal. I'll get something else, and I'm amazing. Make sense?
Yes.
Indeed.
Questions?
Man, someone else can go in.
No, I'm going to go into the comments, but if you have questions, think about them. You don't have to answer me right now. Okay, wonderful. Lots of love happening for both of you. Been in 3 different companies, and I believe I'm so happy during the pandemic that there is hope on LinkedIn, and absolutely, you've got to keep going. And Melissa is another lovely person. You guys should connect with her as well. And let's see, expectation versus reality. Yes. Absolutely. Show me you know me first when connecting with strangers. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
You're connecting with someone, there has to be a common thread.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you're engaging in their content and if you're regular in there, you're not weird like Romeo from the street, like, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? I want to connect with you. Do you have a job? No. It's the easiest way to stop. It's easiest way to break a relationship that hasn't even begun. Hey, Monica's here. How are you, Monica? This is a friend of mine. A lot of pharma CROs and biotech companies are looking for vet scientists. So Prashant, connect with Monica and talk
Yeah,
to
I know. I already got connected with her.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you, Monica.
And a comment about networks. It seems to me that LinkedIn and other platforms have commoditized networking. Volume trumps the meaningful relationships, and these 100% true is so I couldn't agree more. So the authenticity of I'm reaching out, and I read this article of yours, and it really resonated with me. That little personalized thing, make it look like you've done your homework, because most people don't do it. They skip it. And people want to be seen and heard right now. So if somebody did that and saying, hey, and by the way, this happens all the time. I saw Supercharged Fridays. This was my favorite episode and I learned this. And I'm like, sure, happy to connect. Like, I have nothing to lose, as opposed to connecting with me and immediately saying, Sonal, do you have jobs? I get 5 of those a day. I'm like, if you're asking me for a job, you haven't read the profile, because I don't sell jobs, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. It's about who you know, who knows you. Aha, that's interesting. It's an interesting way to put it. Perfect. So guys, this has been, what are your names? Oh, good question. It's in the thing, what do you call it? The post where we are live, their names are written. I'm going to tag them as soon as we're done. But here are the names. Somebody's asking, what are their names? Their names are Prashant and Shannan. If you don't know, you're joining us a little later. It's not a problem. Kiasha's already helped out. You're up. True rock star. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe it that you are, because it comes across. By the way, people can smell it. People are far away and they can smell it in your voice, my voice, Prashant's voice. So you can't fake that stuff, and if you don't have it, you're not.
I'm not an actress.
No, absolutely. So okay, fantastic. So we're done, and I want to know, you guys heard a bunch of things today from each other, from me. I want to know, what are you going to do and when are you going to do it?
I've already started, and thanks to Lauren, I got to meet you, and Sonal, and then Prashant, getting to meet you, and I've been doing the things of helping other people that are like in the depths. They're in the valley right now, and just like you said, reaching out and helping other people, man, it comes back and it feels so good. And the very first, like your first post, like starting now, Prashant, that you write, it's I think it's going to end up being your favorite one, because you it's your first one starting now. And, my first post was scary, like writing on Facebook and Instagram, like big freaking deal. Like, I mean, but LinkedIn, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is a big freaking deal. And I'm like, a big freaking deal. And so my first story was a personal one, but also how it changed my life. And it's featured in my section, and it also shows my personality even as a very young, teen. And so there are so many great things. And yes, I'm reading this, like plan a diary and have that, like Lauren gave us that, like you have a cadence, like here's a personal post. Here's where you shared something from a thought leader and then added to the conversation. And then you shared knowledge of your own to help other people. And then you can go do another like you just figure out your cadence and when is the best time in your country to post.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's multiple different times. But another thing, thank you, Lauren, that she taught us, once you post, do not edit for the first hour or
Yeah,
your goes dead.
there's some science behind it. So wonderful. I'm just going to interrupt you for a second because I remembered. Kiasha, I don't know if you're still there. This green circle, I'll share it because you stuck around till the end, and I appreciate that you've been there. It's you ask 3 people, you get 3 different answers. If you ask me, I don't like it. It's distracting, from your profile picture and this open to work thing. Instead, I prefer you choose open to work where recruiters know you are actively looking for a job, and that's it. And that open to work thing doesn't define me. I'm more than that, right? I'm a big freaking deal. I'm not an open to work vanilla person. This is my personal opinion. So obviously I'm not saying
I agree with you.
Yeah, but people who've done it, I'm not saying you guys are like, it was just a personal reaction of mine. But do what works for you, and some recruiters say it's great. It helps people to stand out. But if you ask me, that's my opinion. So
we need to make our own circle that says I'm a big freaking deal.
You have to have your aura around,
I love that.
Yeah, or just hold the sign up.
And there's a few people who come every single Friday. So it's great that you blocked your diary, Kiasha. I'm glad that you were here today. So I want to know, based on what you heard today, I want to know it like literally in half a minute each. What are you going to do and when are you going to do it? Prashant, let's start with you.
Yeah, I will clearly highlight 3 things which I can reinforce again and again. First is the mindset. Secondly, consistency.
What about the mindset? Mindset is a big topic.
Yeah, mindset is like there is a hope. I mean, like last couple of weeks, I was bit down and bit hopeless because of rejections. But no, now I'm okay. It happens. So, okay, no problem. So that's the mindset I have to revamp, reinforce. And secondly, where I am looking, So as you rightly said, and also someone in the comments said, I think it was Risto, the blue ocean and the red ocean. So that is also very valid strategy for me. And lastly is the consistency, looking at the long-term relationship building rather than connecting and just forgetting about it. So I will work on these 3 things and we'll keep the consistency going.
Excellent. Yeah. I love that you took specific takeaways. And when are you going to start, Prashant?
Right away after the session.
I love it. What about you, Shannan?
Okay, so I will start with mindset, but my mindset starts when I go to sleep at night before I start my day, so that I can turn my brain off. So I write in a gratitude journal, because some days are good and some days are bad, and some days are both good and bad. And I want to, it was bad. I just focused on the wrong stuff, and it was really good. And then I can sleep well. And then I write my plan at night, what I'm going to do. Sometimes I will write, I'm going to continue to write my post at night, save it as a draft, so that first thing in the morning, I hit.
Good. So create content, number 1. Number 2?
And then, well, the gratitude journal.
The gratitude, the mindset.
The mindset. And then 3, making meaningful connections.
Perfect.
And continuing to comment on the thought leaders that I love, that I would, be a little schoolgirl if I saw them, excited about how much.
Which is fine, which is good. So wonderful. I'm just mindful of time, but this has hopefully been helpful, useful, supercharged Friday. Yes. For you guys, it has been for me for sure, and hopefully for everyone watching. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's spent their time today.
Thank you.
This is a great community. I was counting today, 36 weeks we've been going live, 36 Fridays since January without fail. Illness, vacation, it didn't matter. It's a laptop, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. And some people who've been hanging out here have found jobs. They don't come anymore. I don't know if they found a job. Was it because of Supercharge Fridays, or was it, I don't know. Some said yes, and some were like, with their own effort. So good for them. But the community keeps growing. It keeps changing. So a big thank you to you guys. Wish you a lovely weekend. You guys hang on. I'm just going to keep you for another minute, but take care, everyone.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
And thanks for your support. You guys are amazing. So.
Great.